Yeah. Screen share. Yeah. Yesterday we are discussed about the digestive system of the starfish, and the next part is that the digestive glands in the starfish, the pyloric stomach are attached the 10 long brownish greenish glandular appendages, variously called the pyloric ceca, digestive glands, branchial ceca, hepatic ceca, etc. There are two pyloric ceca in each arm, each suspended from the arboreal wall of the arm by two longitudinal mesenteries that enclose between the coelomic space. Continuous, it is the central end with the general coelom of the disc. Each pyloric cecum consists of double series of hollow lobulated sacs that open into the central tube duct. The two ducts forming a pair of ceca of each arm unite to form a main pyloric duct that opens into the pyloric stomach at the its of angle. See this the in each arm is the two ducts are there from the pyloric stomach. In each arm, the first the common duct is there, and from the common duct, the two ducts are the runs toward the tip of the arm, and each have the sac-like structures to the both sides from the burn, and these are the hepatic ceca. This is known as the hepatic ceca, as like they are the secrete the digestive enzymes are like the liver. So they're known as the pyloric cecum or the hepatic ceca. Now we are going to the study of the food feeding mechanism and the digestion of the physiology of the digestion in the starfish. Asterias is the carnivorous animal, fed the Oriaceli on the worms, crustacean, snails, and the bivalve, small-sized starfishes, echinoderms, and the fishes. Sometimes Asterias also feeds on the dead animals and under the hazardous conditions may live without food for the several months. Mostly its favorable dish is the molluscan bivalves, and they can live for the several months with starvation. Without food, they can live for long periods. The ingestion and the digestion, how the starfish ingests the food material. The mode of feeding of the ingestion of the starfish is the most unusual type. It swallows the small sized animals directly through the mouth without any mastication, without cut into pieces. The whole prey body is the swallowed. The prey is held by the tube feet, and the cardiac stomach is the aortic. All the arms are the bent down around the food, around the prey, and hold into the two feet inside, and then the whatever the cardiac stomach sorry yes, cardiac stomach is the aortic through the mouth, and it's wrapped around the this wrapping all the prey, and then it's the withdrawn inside the uh, stomach or inside the cavity. So this is the ingestion mechanism along with the digestive. The food-shelled mollusk, mostly the bivalve, Asterias adopts another interesting technique. It creeps over the palm and holding it with the two feet to orients it to bring the free margins of the shell close to its mouth, and it now arches its body, assuming a characteristic hump or the umbrella-like posture. This the umbrella-like posture, and the more proximal two feet firmly grip both the walls of the bivalve shell, while the more distal ones are attached to the substrate. The cardiac stomach is now aortate through the mouth by the concentration of the body wall and the pressure of the coelomic fluid. The tube feet gripping the walls of the calm shell, they exert a steady pull as the muscles in the arms contract. But because the muscles of the clam cannot maintain a continuous state of the contraction for a long time, and the sooner or later, the adductors of the muscles become fatigued for the exhausted and finally relax so that the shell opens. Asterius now inserts its already inverted the cardiac stomach into the mantle cavity of the calm and the pours out the proteolytic enzymes. Now the enzymes are the diseases that the enzymes are getting through the pyloric ceca. These the enzymes digest the visceral organs of calm. That the shell of the calcium carbonate, which is also the dissolved or the digested by these the enzymes, and they converts the proteins of visceral organs into the peptones and the amino acids, polysaccharides, carbohydrates, and the lipid contents into the fatty acids and glycerol. When the digestion is the partially completed, the sea star withdraws its stomach along with the digestive food by means of its retractor muscles and the moves on the leaving behind the shell of the victim. Remaining digestion of the food substances occurs in the cardiac stomach, from which the digested food diffuses to coelomic fluid for body-wide distribution and the pyloric ceca, where it may be distributed to arms or stored in the storage cells of epithelium of pyloric ceca. The undigested food is either ingested out directly from the mouth or passed through the intestine and digested through the anus. See, in the physiology, there are the different peptones, amino acids are there, polysaccharides, they are the digest by the like the amylase, protease, lipase, all kind of the enzymes are releases there, and therefore acting on the food material, and food is digested into the cardiac. And after that, just absorption of the food in the coelomic fluid, then the diffuses to the fluid of the body, the distribution of the pyloric ceca through the pyloric ceca. Somewhat the stored there, and the whatever the undigested part food is ingested directly of the large size of particles. They are ingested through the mouth, and those are the minute non-digested part also digested through the anus. So it is about the physiology of the digestion of food in the starfish. Now the next system we want to study, the next system, that is the water vascular system of the starfish. The water vascular system is the modified part of the coelom, and it consists of the system of the seawater filled canals having the certain corpuscles. It plays most vital role in the locomotion of the animal and the comparts madreporite. What the comprises? It consists madreporite, stone canal, ring canal, radial canal, Cadman's body, lateral canals, and the tube pits. These are the, now try to understand the one by one the location and the structure and the function of the each part of the water vascular system. See, this is the structure of the water vascular system. We know that the starfish has at the central disc there is a five arm pentagonal ring is there, and from the each ring in each segment there is the ring canal. So the in between the two arms there is the one opening is known as the madreporite. Madreporite is like the sieve-like structures. This is the sieve where the food is the filter. Sorry, not water is the filter there. This the water is the filter. So for that, for the porous structure, this is the porous and act as the sieve. So this is the madreporite. It is the one the funnel-like structure is there, conical funnel-like structure, and through that the funnel the water is entered. Just below the madreporite there is a calcareous ringed structure and the S-shaped stone canal. This is known as the S-shaped stone canal. Due to the calcareous ring, it is become the hardened, so it is known as the stone canal. Stone canal leads into the pentagonal ring. The pentagonal ring, and from the this is the pentagonal ring. In each arm, one is the radial canal is there. The radiating canal is showing there, and from the radiating canal, there is the two row of the that is the lateral canals, and this the lateral canals are the ending with the tube pits, and there are the two row of the tube pits on the either side of the radial canals. So the total the four row of the tube pits are present, and each tube pit consists the ampulla, podium, and the suckers. With the help of these suckers, they can adhere toward the substratums or the to catch the prey. So this the water vascular system also helpful for to the holding the prey, attached to the substratum and the locomotion. Now how this the work? How is the work is there? So they insist of that. Here the Tiedemann's body in each arm of the pentagonal ring there is the one pair of the blackish bodies are there. That's one of the Tiedemann's bodies. These the Tiedemann's bodies may be related with the regulate the pressure, water pressure into the radial canals. So now, other than that, the Polian vesicles also found the balloon-like structure. Through two to the three the Polian-like structures are the present, but it does not found the Asterias. But in another species, these are found known as the Polian vesicles. And these also the role as like the Tiedemann's body there, they will be regulate the water pressure. Then how this work is there? The water is entered through the madreporite by the filtration, means not enter the sand particles through the water. Once the water is the releases toward the stone canal to ring canal, and then the ring canal toward the radial canal, and radial canal to the tube pits, and that the pressurely now the water is stored in the ampulla. If the ampulla is the contract, and through the podium the water is expelled through the sucker inside the water, and which side you want to direct the water is the expelled toward the backwardly, and the starfish moves toward the forwardly. So all arm the tube pits are the worked at the time, and they are showing the directions toward the posterior, so the water can expel to outside backwardly, and the animal locomote forwardly. So this is the mechanism which is found in the. So this is the first is the madreporite. Already I explained here. It is the already the started. The madreporite is the rounded calcareous one. Okay. Then the stone canal, ring canal, Tiedemann's body, and the Polian vesicle. So already the ring canal gives of the inner side is the interradial position, one of the two or the four pear-shaped thin-walled contractile bodies, and they are supposed to be the regulate the pressure inside the umbilical systems. Okay. This about the water vascular systems and the locomotion of the Asterias. Asterias lacks the in head or the anterior end, therefore capable to move in the any direction. It has no head, but it can capable to in the move in the direction according to its desire. It can move on horizontal as well as in the vertical surface by the help of the tube pit. So, locomotion of the horizontal surface. When the Asterias desires to move on horizontal surface in a given direction, the arms or the arms pointing in that direction is lifted. The ampullae of the raised arm contract, the wall in the lateral canals close, and the water of the ampullae is forced into the podia, and the podia of the tube pit become the extended, elongated, and enlarged in the general direction of the movement due to the hydrostatic pressure. The hydrostatic pressure produced by the influx of the water into them. Subsequently, the terminal suckers of the tube pit becomes attached to the substratum, and their central parts of the withdrawn to form the suction cups due to the vacuum so produced, and the suckers acquire from grip over the substratum. Mucus secreted by the tips of the tube pit further adds in the attachment. Now the locomotion by the vertical surface. In climbing a vertical surface, the tube feet pull the body forward by the alternate contraction and the expansion. When they want to move the vertical, at that times, these the tube feet are the arm work alternately for to the climbing. First row of the tube feet is sucked there, then the another one is extended, sucked towards, again next one, and so they are the climb to the vertical. So the Asterias employs its cupids only when it moves on the hard rocky substratum, but on the soft mud of the sand, the suckers of the cupid become the useless. Therefore, on such a soft surfaces, the animal literally walks on the extended cupid, which now act like the small legs. With the help of the small leg, besides locomotion, cupid serves many other functions, such like the clinging of animal body and substrate to the substratum, tactile and the respiratory. They are the respiratory are also, tactile sense of touch also, clinging also. So the now as per our syllabus, this part is not to in the syllabus like the circulatory system and another part of this. So we are directly goes to the next part as per our syllabus. Nervous system is not the part of your now. There is the sense organs, whatever may be, we are find out that the terminal tentacles are there. Eyes, sense organs are the eyes. The eyes are the most significant sensory organs of Asterias. They are simple, pigmented, and occur at the base of the terminal tentacles on the oral surface. At the base of each terminal tentacle occur optic cushions which are composed of the thick epidermis with many photoreceptors or the pigmented corpuscle. Each ocellus is the cup shaped for the funnel-like pocket of pectoderm. It is covered externally by the cuticle beneath which is the found in many species a lens formed by the epidermis. The wall of cup consists of the epidermal cells altered into shorter, stouter shape and filled distally with the red pigment granules and of retinal cells disposed between the pigment cells. So this is the eyes are found in each arm. There is the one eye at the end of this, and this is the concerned with the visions. Now the see this the asterisk section through the terminal tentacle and the eye spot is there. So this is the pigmented ocelli are there. Optic cushion is there. This is the eye spot. Radial nerve cord is shown there. And this is the big part is the single eye or the ocellus, whatever the showing is there. Number of ocelli is formed. Now the terminal tentacles have the sensory cells which are tactile and also the sensitive to food and the other chemical stimuli. Then the neurosensory cells. The entire body surface of the epidermis of Asterias is the traversed by many neurosensory cells, serving as both tango and the chemoreceptors. The neurosensory cells are the slender cells with the fusiform body containing the muscles of distal thread-like processes reaching to the cuticle and the proximal fiber, entering the sub. These are the neurosensory cells and these are the sense organs. Then I think there is no in your syllabus also because I want to check it first within 1 minute. I check the syllabus. There is either the reproductive system is or present for your study or not. Yes. Habitat, external morphology, digestive system, autovascular system, and now we are going to directly the autotomy and the regeneration, and then the pedicelaria in echinodermata and the economic importance. 3 points are the remain. Now we are going to study the what is the autotomy and the regeneration directly. Autotomy and the regeneration. Yes. regeneration and the autotomy in the asterisk. What is the autotomy? Autotomy are nothing but when these the starfishes or the echinoderms are generally in dangers, or the when the any predator can try to catch it, caught it, then they are cut down its part or the arm from that the body part, and that's known as the autotomy, and they are escaped through the gripping of the its prey, its predator. This is known as the autotomy. The Asterias possesses the considerable power of the regeneration. What is the regeneration? That whatever the cut part of the body is the capable to develop the whole organism, or the from the that the animal which part is the lost is again developed. That the part is lost is again developed is known as the regeneration, and cut down the part is known as the autotomy. So it is capable to regenerate its any lost part of the body at any time, many times. Moreover, if the arm is the injured or the health up, Asterias usually cast off its the near the base at the fourth or the fifth ambulacral ossicle, and this is called the autotomy. From the base to near to the base of the arm, they are the cut down, and they are the called the autotomy. The opening left in the side of the central disc by the broken up is the immediately closed the contraction of the adjacent body wall, musculature for the protection of the internal body organs, and the regeneration of the new arm starts at the place. But disc deprived of all its arms the regenerates. That the disc is the remain. See this the whatever the compensate the regeneration is there. The four arms are cut there, and from the single arm, the remaining arms can start to the new radial arms is started to develop. So here, this is known as the regeneration. Opening the left side of the central disc by the broken of the arm is immediately closed by the contraction of the adjacent body wall, musculature for the protection of the internal body wall. They are immediately close the cutting parts of the adjacent body wall musculature and the internal body organs and the regeneration. You can start. A disc deprived of all its arms regenerates. Only the central disc remains. So all the arms can meet develop. In Asterian vulgaris, a single arm with the portion of the disc regenerates and the entire animal, but in the Lynchia, an arm totally devoid of the disc can also the regenerate complete animal. See, in some form, only the disc is the remain get the can develop them. And in some form, the arm only remain is the cutted arm can develop the central disc also with the remaining arms. So this is the great power of the regeneration. So there is they cannot occur the death. Natural, no, there is the natural death is there. The specimens with the small regenerating arms at the base of the large original arms are the popularly called the common. Okay, so this is the structure is there. Now the part of the pedicellary already yesterday we are seen there. Again we have overlooked the type of the pedicellary. Generally, the two types of the pedicellaries are formed, but in our syllabus, there are the 3 to 4 types of the pedicellary are shown there. But general, there are the 2 types of the pedicellaries found in the echinoderms. Like one is the straight type, and another one is the scissor type, or the cross type is there. So the first straight or the straight type or the porciculate type of the pedicellary, which is found in mostly the Asterias. That's these pedicellary are the simple. There are the 2 jaws, or the more or the less straight and attached usually to the basal piece. When closed, they remain the parallel and meet together, meet throughout their length. At the time of the rest, they are meet together as like this one. And the 2 jaws work against one another like the blades. They're the cutting blades or the forcing, pinching, useful for the pinch, like the pinching. You know that the forceps, eyebrow forceps are used in that, like this. This act as the forceps. The two jaws work against one another like the blades of the force with the help of the three pairs of muscles, and that the muscles are the two pairs of the abductor muscles, adductor muscles, and the one pair of the abductor muscles are there. So they are working by the like this, the closing and the opening of the forceps, closing and the opening of the forceps. Another one is known as the scissor like. This is known as the scissor or the cross. These the two blades are crossing. The two blades are the crossing like this, and they are work like the scissor. Patri the kaichi. At like scissor, the two blades are the crossed, and the holding by this the again there the blades are crossing and the worked by again the two pair of the adductor muscles and the one pair of the these are the horny teeth are there. They have the horny teeth. Presence of the horny teeth are there, and to catch the prey or to hold the substratum very powerfully with it. And the another example is known as the some of the clavet shaped or the globular pedicellary as having the sucker like organs. They having the suckers mostly in the echinoderms. They are the attached toward the substratum with the help of these the pedicellary. These the pedicellary are the some of the like the umbrella type or the some of the round oval having like the globular parts, the rounded parts. This there is no diagrams. I've shown it later on. What kind of the pedicellary is there? Okay. Now the last part we want to go to the study, that is the economic importance of the starfish. Economic importance. What is the economic importance of the starfish? The starfish are has also the high economic importance of the echinoderms. They are used for the production of the calcium material also, and in medicinally value also they have the in medicinally importance. Medicinally important also. The role of the starfish are the echinoderms. Importance of echinoderms. Echinoderms are the important for the ecosystem. They are also the source of food and the medicine for humans. The ecological role. Echinoderms play the numerous ecological roles. Sand dollars and the sea cucumbers burrow into the sand, providing more oxygen at greater depths of the sea floor. Due to this, they can provide the more oxygen to the depth of the sea by the burrowing. This allows more organisms to live there. So the increasing the oxygen capacity level is there, so the more animals can be. In addition, starfish prevent the growth of algae on the coral reefs. They can develop prevention of the development of the algae. These allow the coral to filter feed more easily. And many sea cucumbers provide the habitat for the parasites such as the crab, worms, and the snails. So due to this, the ecosystem ecological role, they can give the habitats to these the crabs, worms, and the snails in their area and the cucumbers. Echinoderms are also an important step in the ocean food chain. They also act as a food chain. The echinoderms are the staple diet of the many animals, including the sea otter. Sea otter feeds on this the echinoderms. On the other hand, echinoderms eat the seaweed and keep its the growth in check. Seaweeds also they cut by the one or the day. The recall this that the sea urchin is a grazer animal, mainly feeding on the algae, on the coral or the rocks. So this is they can maintain the growth of the algae by this the sea urchins are there. They are the grazer animals. Like recently, some marine ecosystems have been overrun by the seaweed, and the excess seaweed can destroy entire reefs. Scientists believe that the extinction of the large quantities of the echinoderms has caused the destruction. If we are the number of the echinoderms is the reduces, then is the increase in the algal blooms. So the ecosystem they can play the role to maintain the level of the algal blooms of there, providing the habitats toward the another invertebrates like the crabs, worms, and the snails to there, and they can maintain the oxygen level. So their role is the very important in the ecological system. The echinoderms act as the foods. In some countries, echinoderms are considered the delicious. Around the 50,000 tons of sea urchins are captured each year as a food for food. They are consumed mostly in Japan, Peru, Spain, France. Both male and the female gonads of the sea urchins are also consumed. The taste is described as the soft and the melty, like the mixture of the seafood and the fruit. They can eat with the fruit, seafood. Like the other the seafood like fish, crab, or the prawns, and like they are also feed on the sea urchins. Sea cucumbers also are considered a delicacy in some Southeastern Asian countries. What are the sea cucumbers are there? This is also the act as a delicious food in some Asian countries. In China, they are used as the basis of for the gelatinous soups and the stews. From that the cucumber they make the soup, gelatinous soups. And then the echinoderms as the medicine. What the use of in their medicine is there? Echinoderms are also the used as a medicine and it's the scientific research. For example, some sea cucumber toxins slow down the growth rate of the tumor cells. In cancer, these are the prevention of the downgrowth the tumor cells. So there is the interest in the using this in the cancer research. So the very important role of these the cucumber toxins are there at the to prevent the growth of the tumor cells. Sea urchins are also the model organisms used in the developmental biology research. Sea urchins have been used to the study the mechanisms of fertilization and the egg activations. This is the in embryological study. They are also the used for the fertilization of the egg activation, physiological process that occurring during the early development and the regulation of the differentiation in the early embryo. In addition, the molecular basis of early development was studied in the SEER. So it is the experimental animals refer to the embryology, molecular biology. Okay. In addition, the molecular basis of this, the gametes can be obtained easily, and the sterility is not required. Because for to the collection of the gametes is the easy process, and the observe it the next techniques, whatever the mitosis, meiosis, then the blastula, gastrula, cleavage. So all the embryology will be studied there. And the eggs and the early embryos of many commonly used the species are beautifully transformed. In addition, the early development of the sea urchin embryo is highly conserved process. When the batch of eggs is fertilized, all the resulting embryos typically develop at the same time. And this makes the biochemical and the molecular studies of the early embryo possible in the sea urchin and has led to number of the major discoveries. So for to the find out the what the changes in the at the time of embryonic stages, which are the hormones of the play role. These the all the studies is the gives the evidences for to the embryological discoveries. Now the echinoderms in the farming. The hard skeleton of the echinoderms is used as the source of the lime by farmers. Whatever the lime is the required that the gets in from the these echinoderm sons. In some areas where the limestone is unavailable, lime is added to the soil to allow the plants to take the more nutrients. About the 4,000 tons of the animals are used each year of this purpose. So the summarize, the echinoderms are an important part of the ocean food chain, keeping the seafood in the check as the grazers and serving as the food sources for the animal like otters. Echinoderms are used as a food, medicine, and the source of the lime for farmers. So, students, as for this, the only one lecture I require for the tomorrow, one lecture is the more required for the